I may never win another race again. Well, I probably will, but maybe not one that measures up to my own personal standard of excellence. You see, it's just part of human nature to never be satisfied, to always want more. But it is a certain fact that one day you will have won your last race, run your last PR, or achieved your last feat of excellence to whatever standard you might have. I can tell you through experience that the idea that you will never run faster than when you were at your best will make you sick to your stomach. It'll keep you up at night, and you will do all you can do for as long as you can do to fight your former self. Because that's really what you're doing if you think about it. Yes, you are constantly in competition with others, but you are truly always in competition with your former self. It seems unhealthy, and it probably is, but the reward you get that comes from one-upping the person you used to be is better than any drug that exists. The problem that comes from the chase is the struggle that ensues. Because you know just how incredible that reward is, you will never not be in competition with yourself. Once you start the process, you become trapped in the seemingly never-ending ride of pursuit. It's an endless cycle that consumes all that are brave enough to step up to the challenge. This concept is inherently a tragedy. The faster you get, the less room for error you have. Beating your past self gets harder and harder, and as more and more time goes by in which you still have not leveled up once again, the enemy that is your former self grows stronger. As your enemy that is you from the past becomes stronger, you start to dissociate from that person. Before, you were always able to conquer your enemy because you knew them so well. You knew what made them great and what you needed to do to be even greater. But if you let too much time pass, you begin to doubt yourself. Your enemy of the past infects your mind with ideas that you are no longer good enough to get the job done. But still, you continue to chase because that feeling of conquering is too great to let go. Weeks become months, months become a year, and then 2, and then 5. And then one day, the hunger you once had begins to fade away. They say when you're starving, eventually your body stops letting you feel the hunger. That's the feeling you get when you know it's finally time to wave the white flag to your former self. It's over. But then, something beautiful happens, and I'll tell you all about it right after a word from our sponsor of today's video. I had some really big goals for 2024 for my running career, but literally at the beginning of the year, I got Achilles tendonitis and a partial tear in my Achilles, which essentially wiped all of my goals away. Not being able to run has been completely devastating for me, but I've actually seen it as a challenge to work on other areas of my life and try new things. One thing that I've found is that I do not have to be alone in my struggles. Speaking with a therapist can help so much in ensuring you stay on track with your goals and aspirations when life throws you a curveball. So I want to thank BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. BetterHelp makes starting therapy easier and much less intimidating for a lot of people. BetterHelp lets you have therapy via phone calls, video calls, or even text messaging, whatever is the easiest form of therapy for you. There are over 30,000 therapists in their network based on your needs, preferences, and location, which gives you access to a wider range of expertise than may be available in your city. To get started, you will fill out a questionnaire that will ask questions about what challenges you're going through and what kind of therapist you'd like, and then BetterHelp can match you with a therapist to help you. You'll be matched with a therapist in most cases within 48 hours. You can schedule therapy sessions at a time that's convenient for you. If you feel like your therapist isn't a great fit, then you can switch therapists with a click of a button in your settings at no additional cost. So if you are interested, click the link in the description or head to betterhelp.com/athletespecial. Clicking that link helps out my channel a lot as a small creator, and it will give you 10% off of your first month of BetterHelp, so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps. After finally laying down your sword and acknowledging to your enemy that they have won, you realize that your enemy was never really an enemy at all. It was you. It was always you. And when this wonderful realization hits, you are hit by a wave of emotion and relief that allows you to finally be at peace. The person you learned to resent and hate for all of those years can finally be appreciated and loved. You see, when you're in that tunnel vision of trying to reach that next big milestone, you can't see the bigger picture. But when you pull back the curtain, you actually realize that the journey meant so much more than the actual big wins. The places you went, the people you met, all the emotions of the ups and downs, that is why you continued to chase the dream. For me, this was my big struggle as an athlete. Until I finally let go, I was never really able to appreciate myself. Running is a brutal sport because the saying, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse, is actually technically true from a time perspective. Unless you happen to run a time that is exactly the same down to the 100th of a second to your PR, then you either are worse or better than what you have run. The comparison game can be such a horrible path to go down, but personally I am happy that I had to go through it. I truly believe that continuing to put yourself out there even when things are not going well can help you learn things about yourself that you would have never known. At the same time, I think it can be really easy to get stuck going down the same path again and again and again when there are so many more amazing paths you can take. This all makes sense because it's in human nature to seek out comfort, and obviously going down that same path is going to give you comfort because you know it so well. For the longest time, I felt like I was meant to follow one specific dream aggressively, and that if I didn't follow that one dream, I would be doing myself a disservice. I truly felt that this was the correct decision to make, but I began to eventually get comfortable, and that was when I knew things needed to finally change for me. Giving up and letting go are two completely separate entities in my opinion. To me, giving up is when you know deep down that you have more in the tank, but you're scared of failing, so you quit. It's an emotional feeling that usually comes with regret. Letting go is more of an intentional decision to release something that no longer serves you. It opens new doors for you, and you're able to look back at your past with pride, not regret. So I started this video by saying I may never win another race again. But now I disagree with that statement. I've learned that the concept winning a race is really just continuing to put yourself out there. As long as you are always chasing something, then you are winning that race. That's the secret to life. Let go of the past and let yourself be free. But never stop chasing new experiences and dreams. Without a dream, there is no race. And lining up is winning.